Does anybody have any burning questions as we get started? Or any, kind of just smoldering under the surface questions? Anything.
Could you say a little bit more, Elaine, about the Vajra body?
Well, I think we could say this is the indestructible body, the light body, which would be, when we say Vajra body, we're saying Dharmakaya or truth body. This is the indestructible mind of clear light, the ongoing, never-ending, fundamental mind of simultaneously born bliss. Yeah?
Thank you.
Pleasure. Skylar, you had your hand up.
I was just wondering if maybe you would be going into the difference between like the highest yoga tantra and the other tantras.
Actually, no, to be perfectly straight up with the answer. There's so many different ways we can go. There's so many different levels, there are the 4 levels of Tantra, and getting into the specifics of each one would be a course in and of itself, right? So basically, highest yoga Tantra always has the 3 bodies meditation within it. And it's good to progress along, in the lower tantras and get a taste. But ultimately, for full enlightenment, having an initiation and practicing highest yoga tantra would be something we would like to do. And that being said, honest to Pete, it's so important to just be pleased with where you are, to practice where you are, and slowly go through. And when you meet a Lama, you receive an empowerment, practice it, see what happens. The only way to get a taste is to actually practice, right? So what is your question really about? What brings you this question about the difference between the 4 levels of Tantra?
Basically, guess I'm starting backwards, because my first initiation was with the highest yoga tantra, and I'm no longer with that guru or that organization, and I found Thubten Norbenling, and I did the psychology, or the psychology of Tantra with through here as well, and he was kind of inferring that the highest yoga tantra is not really the best place to start. So I'm like, I don't really know. I mean, that's kind of where I started, so that's where I'm at, and I guess I'm trying to lay the foundation now that I'm starting backwards, which is kind of typical in my life.
Honestly, my dear, this foundation is to lay the sutra foundation. You received highest yoga tantra empowerment because you created the cause to receive that. It doesn't come by the by, and it's very rare to have that an opportunity and a wish and to actually engage in that. So the thing about that is, so if you've left that particular community and that organization, that's all right. It doesn't change the fact that you have the seed for that particular empowerment right there to do that particular practice. And that contains all of the aspects of the lower tantras as well. So there you are, there's the cream on the top, and you can shake it up and you'll have it all. It's all right there. But the very thing to do is to hold the foundation true, to really understand what it is that holds up this practice of Tantra. And it is the sutra path. So this is the most important thing, is to do the preliminaries, to really get a firm idea of the preliminaries, and to go ahead and practice. You practice, you receive the empowerment into that practice, you can practice that. And perhaps you will find a Lama in a different lineage that you will have a closer connection to. You can take that empowerment again, and then It doesn't mean you never turn your back on your Lama. No matter if your Lama manifests in a way that you don't like, you don't ever disparage your Lama. Your Lama, your preceptor, we could say your preceptor, the person who gave you the vows, regardless of what they do. Sometimes they manifest in this life. They show this life behaviors that we think are improper. And this happens throughout all 4 traditions, and it happens throughout all spiritual traditions. People manifest in ways that we think are inappropriate. But there's a saying, don't rely on the teacher, rely on the teachings. And don't rely on the teachings, rely on the meaning. So really rely on the meaning of the teaching, right? What it is, what is the meaning of this? And you can get commentary from other teachers as well on that particular Tantra. So it was back in the day, in the 70s, it was very true that most of the people who were meeting Tibetan Buddhism for the first time were meeting unbelievably high lamas, the junior and senior tutors to the Dalai Lama, the Dalai Lama himself, and many of these lamas who came, first thing they did was give tantric empowerment. So many of us we started taking tantric empowerments before we even knew what it meant. But alongside that, we were given the teachings on the sutra path, the Lam Rim. I believe often, I think it might have been quite shocking to these Tibetan lamas to see how little knowledge we had when it came to Buddhism. But they believed, I think, that we had some foundation in concentration. They didn't teach concentration. So most of them didn't. So I think it's really quite amusing. But Lama said, okay, to practice together, okay, to practice sutra and tantra together. Good to practice it together, he said. There are some lamas who will not give tantric empowerment until the whole Lam Rim is very well realized, a good foundation in that. Lama Yeshe was out of the box. He was. He taught in a very unique way, and he gave empowerments in a very unique way. It was his interest in giving a real taste of what it meant to receive an initiation. And oftentimes, if we had the karma to be in a room where there was a tantric empowerment given, and you were from your heart wanting, with a bodhicitta motivation, wanting to attain a state of enlightenment as quickly as possible, then your heart's open to receive the seed to plant that, to practice that tantra. So I say, not to worry. Don't worry. Don't worry, dear. Yeah. Anybody else?
I had a question. You talked about the Dharmakaya being for one's own self and the other 2 being for others.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you just described the Vajra body as being the indestructible mind of clear enlightenment.
Mm-hmm. Of clear light. Yeah.
Of clear light. Yeah.
Clear light. So clear light mind, this is for the purpose of if oneself, if you have clear light mind, this is for your own purpose. You have this clear light mind. You're not really doing anything with that clear light mind. You manifest in the enjoyment body in order for the purpose of benefiting others.
Right.
But only certain levels of people can see the Sambhogakaya. So you manifest then as the Nirmanakaya, the emanation body for others who can see you. And you manifest as an ordinary human being for us,
Right.
manifest as an ordinary human being, which is one of the reasons why I think, okay, lamas are manifesting with all their foibles too,
Right.
to show, this is the human condition. Does that make sense?
It does make sense. It makes so much sense. I'm feeling like I'm missing something.
Lady Naguma said, it's so obvious we don't see it. So simple we don't believe it. So easy we don't trust it.
Right.
It is like that.
Yeah. That's great.
Yeah. Okay. Good. All right. Shall we? If you have more questions, I'll leave some time at the end for us to have some questions. We will do a brief meditation and then try to get into the text so that we can finish it before our time is up, before we die, whichever comes first. Oh my. Oh yeah. All right, so please take a good seat. Sit fully. John Kabat-Zinn often says, maintain a posture of dignity. So I think this conjoins with the idea of divine pride, you know. So as we sit with our spine straight and just letting go. We become familiar with scanning the body so that in time, we simply sit down and quickly let the light flow down through the body all the way to the ground, connecting to the earth. Taking a deep breath and then letting go of the past, of the future, and of any fantasizing about this present moment. Resting evenly as the body breathes, moment by moment. It's an ingathering of energy. Leaving the external world and turning in. And then it's a letting go. And a realizing that there is no center and there is no periphery. Awareness simply abides. And within awareness, all things arise. They abide. And they dissolve. But awareness remains like the sky above the clouds. Clear. We rest evenly in present moment awareness. And ask ourselves, where is the one resting? And in the non-finding of that one, we rest in the emptiness of the self and know that that's true of all phenomena. We rest in present moment awareness with no one resting and nothing to be put into a place of resting. Minding this clear, present awareness, we see that thoughts arise. And when we do not engage with them, they pass. And there is a space. And this is the space of clear awareness. And we expand our ability to remain there. In the pause. In this vast luminous awareness. We mind the gaps between this and that, allowing this and that to come and go as it will. By way of motivating ourselves, in his private advice on the practice of Mahamudra, the great master Tilopa told Naropa, things of this cycle are meaningless. Just feeding your ignorant likes and dislikes. The things you do lack any essence. So focus upon the ultimate essence. You won't see the object beyond all thought with the things you're thinking. You won't find the object beyond all deeds with the things you're doing. If you truly long to reach the object beyond all thought, beyond all deeds, take a trip inside your mind and rest there within the naked mind. Penetrate the putrid swamp of your conceptions. Don't feed or strangle what appears. Just take it as it comes. And when there is no more to grasp or let go, you're released into Mahamudra, clear light mind. So with an longing to actualize the very essence of this path for the welfare of every living being, we engage in this afternoon session to become Buddhas quicker than quick. Okay. When we become adept at dropping into our meditation, we can do that anytime. On our feet even, standing in line at the grocery store. And we can drop into our heart and send love to all those in front of us and behind us. This we can practice on our feet. And when we begin to practice tantric practice, if we are manifesting as the deity with divine pride and pure appearance, then every action we do is really for the welfare of those in front of us and around us. It's quite an extraordinary state of mind that we try as much as possible to hold. We try to hold that. So the most important thing about deity practice is to get a taste, an actual experience of something that has meaning for you. Our normal dualistic mind is always interpreting that something isn't quite right. Something isn't complete. Something about me and my surroundings. There's this underlying hum. I would say that this underlying hum of dissatisfaction comes from holding something true that doesn't exist. Trying to bolster up that thing that doesn't exist. So there's this constant hum. So we often criticize or exaggerate or overestimate qualities. It's the dualistic mind that's dissatisfied. It embraces a not good enough attitude or thinks somehow I'm bad, or we hold this low self-opinion. And we purge that with divine pride. Tantra says that the human beings have this truly divine quality. Each person's essential nature is something divine. To realize this, tantric practitioners emanate as a deity. They emanate as the deity, and we say, I am this. And if we were to take neuroscience as true, holding that for 20 seconds makes it more and more and more real. So this truly divine quality, we can change this self-pity attitude by cultivating divine pride, by emanating as a deity. And then we can begin to live up to our tremendous potential, right? We can do that. So the most precise way to do that is through the 3 kayas meditation, which is in the highest yoga tantra practices. And great tantric masters of the past, including Lama Tsongkhapa, emphasize that there's nothing more essential than this. So tantric sadhanas vary in their descriptions of this practice, but very similar, each one very similar. So here's how it goes. So first we remind ourselves of our refuge in the 3 jewels. We cultivate heartfelt bodhicitta to achieve enlightenment in order to benefit both ourselves and others. We engage in Guru Yoga. We've been doing that, so you know that very well. We see our Lama before us as the embodiment of all enlightened qualities, and we want to realize this within ourselves. So we imagine our Guru comes to our crown, dissolves into light, and descends into our heart. And as the Guru sinks into us, we visualize that we are experiencing the various visions of death that lead up to the dawning of the very subtle clear light consciousness. And then we meditate on the unification of our Guru's blissful wisdom with our own very subtle mind. And we experience this unification as blissful. So even if there's not an obvious blissful sensation occurring in the body at the moment, we label it such. Whatever bliss we can make, we say, and bliss, marinating in this bliss. Yes, clean, clear, blissful unification with my Lama. And sitting within that, you see, we concentrate on that as single-pointedly as possible. And all dualistic appearances subside, right? We say this experience of emptiness is unified with bliss, and we sit. And then all dualistic appearances subside. And we concentrate on this as much as possible. And then we think this is the enlightened truth body, the Dharmakaya, the Vajra body. This is who I really am. We identify with that. And this transforms our ordinary death into the path to enlightenment. So as we meditate in this way, we begin to break down the concepts of the self-pitying mind. And we shouldn't worry how profound our experiences are or our understanding of emptiness. It's enough in the moment to simply let go and allow our grasping mind to dissolve into clean, clear space. Let it dissolve. And here, the self-pitying mind, complaining about this and that, isn't anywhere to be found. It's non-existent. So we allow the mind to stay in this spaciousness. It's a clear, natural state. As Lama said, without even a speck of rubbish. Completely empty of all ego conflicts. It is reality, and you merely allow your mind to dwell there alertly with vigilance. This is important. It's not a matter of spacing out, everything's cool, man. It's not like that. It's a really active, vigilant awareness that's bright and clear and present-minded and blissful. So space is the #1 example for comprehending non-duality or emptiness. And we have to start somewhere. So we start there to say some taste of what it's like to go beyond the mundane, ego-generated puzzles of this and that. Philosophically, it is said that in emptiness, there's no form, no sounds, no smells, and so on. So this kind of view can be translated into actual experience by allowing everything to dissolve into space through the death process absorptions. As we go through these absorptions, more and more and more and more and more and more and more subtle. In the clear light space of emptiness, the natural state of our mind is allowed to radiate, to embrace the entire world of reality. You know, I'm sure you have had these experiences, and we stay as long as possible in the spacious, non-dualistic state, and we feel that we have reached the Dharmakaya completely in this unobscured wisdom of full enlightenment. You know, we've become that. It's not like we're watching that out there, that it's all out there. Yep, there it is, the clear light mind. No, that's us. You know, we've become that. And then floating in this space of Dharmakaya, we let go until there's nothing disturbing our mind. Nothing. Nothing at all. As Tilopa says, when there is no more to grasp or to let go, you're released into Mahamudra, this clear light mind. And then after some time, then the relative mind will assert itself. It'll draw us out. And then out of compassion, we make a strong determination to arise in a form which others can relate to. And depending on our practice, it might take the shape of a seed syllable or a light or the main deity. Anyway, depending on which practice we're in. And we recognize this very subtle form and strongly identify with it and say, this is the enjoyment body, indistinguishable with bliss. This is who I am. So if we're arising as a seed syllable, we are that. It's not out there or behind us. We are that. We're that shape. If we're arising as a light, we are that light. Whatever it is, we are that. And we strongly identify with that. And in this way, we transform the ordinary bardo or intermediate state into the path of the enlightened enjoyment body. And then again, out of compassion, motivated by the thought to benefit others, we make a strong determination to arise in a form that more beings can relate to. And suddenly the seed syllable transforms into the transparent rainbow body of a deity. And we strongly identify with this appearance. This is the Nirmanakaya, and I am this. This is who I am. And at that time, then we sit in that body, that hollow light body, and we look at all of the various parts of that body, the ornaments and what they mean, and the mandala. And so we meditate strongly and identify with that and develop divine pride on that. And we say, I am, this is who I am. This is developing divine pride and pure appearance on oneself as the deity. So when we see ourselves as the deity, we should feel that we're the real emanation, not play acting. So we convince ourselves, like an actor who stays in character even after the play is finished. We might surprise ourselves that we actually have become the deity. So divine pride is crucial. And with it, tantric transformation will come naturally and be very powerful. So we have to let go of distracting thoughts. During meditation, trying to remain consciously in this open state of non-duality, we may easily become distracted by various arising thoughts, right? And so when this happens, it's often best to simply imagine ourselves strongly as our particular deity and develop a deep awareness of love and let ourselves be the deity. And if we again find ourselves distracted, Lama said by concepts of pizza, then we might begin to say the deity's mantra. Oh my. Yeah. Yeah. So expectation is also a hindrance. When we have this expectation, if it's all going to be like this and we're going to be like that, it's all going to be good, well, that blocks us really from being satisfied with our meditational experience. And it forces us to, kind of compare our practice to this one or some idea of some imaginary level. And the truth is that, practice goes like this. You can't think, oh, I had such a nice experience, that you expect now the next day you're going to have the same experience and even more. And having any kind of expectation causes tension. And then that blocks us. So the solution, as soon as we see expectation, is to let go. Just completely let go, realizing that expectation is a hindrance, and we loosen up and we relax. When we're trying, we see ourselves trying with effort to really get there. Then too much effort prevents the progress rather than helping it. So we let go of expectations and decrease our self-conscious efforts. This is the key to a more satisfying meditational experience. Our normal tendency is to feel dissatisfied and to criticize our body, speech, and mind. And when we get caught up in this disparaging, we criticize others as well. So from a tantric point of view, this is so damaging, because in the process of recognizing oneself as the deity, we recognize all others as the deity. Each and every being has this fundamental Buddha nature. So the antidote to this criticizing, to this destructive tendency, is divine pride. When we practice transforming death, bardo, and rebirth, we cultivate this strong feeling that we are the actual, fully enlightened emanation body of a Buddha, and that our mind is completely free of all superstitious limitations. So we can stop any destructive way of thinking about ourselves and avoid negative self-defeating consequences by concentrating on the oneness of our own fundamental consciousness and the wise, compassionate qualities of the Guru deity. And in this way, we open ourselves to great waves of inspiration that can transform our life completely. The more intensely we concentrate on this feeling of divine pride, and really, you notice the word divine pride, very different than ignorant pride. So really, to recognize that, it's taking pride in the enlightened qualities that we have. It's not ignorant pride. So the practice of highest yoga tantra's divine pride has three special characteristics. One's mind is inseparable with wisdom. The appearance of oneself and all others are the deity, and every experience is great bliss and great joy. So the three recognitions. So we don't just pretend to be the deity, we feel we are inseparable. And the more we cultivate this, unity, then the more powerful our experience of transformation will become. And Lama Yeshe says, oh, it's natural. It's just natural. So we practice seeing all appearances as illusory, as lacking any concreteness, as something out there, separate from our mind. And we recognize that all appearances are arising from emptiness, having the very nature of emptiness, of non-duality. And then finally, our experience of the empty, illusory appearance is labeled blissful. We label it blissful. Well, this is actually accomplished during the completion stage, as we become aware of the blissful energy pervading our nervous system. And this enables us to blend all of our experience with great blissful energy. But it is good enough. It is good enough to practice it. So we learn to break the habit of relating to our experiences in life with a miserable mind and miserable problems. So we have to recognize that we create our human problems ourselves. We shouldn't blame them on society or on our mother or father, Lama says, or our friends or anyone else. And just as we're the creator of our own problems, we're also the creator of our own liberation. And everything that's necessary for attaining this blissful liberation is contained in this body and mind that we have right now at this very moment. So the purpose of generating ourselves as the deity through the practice of the three bodies, or the kayas, is to smash through this self-pitying concept, our suffocating conception of ego. It's this limiting conceptualization that prevents us from realizing our potential for full enlightenment. The wisdom of emptiness is blissful. It's important that clear-sighted wisdom into the true nature of things and the feeling of joyous blissfulness be unified into one experience. You know, we know many people are intelligent. They know many things, but they experience very little joy in their life. So being smart doesn't necessarily produce happiness. Tantra tries to cultivate great wisdom, putting intelligence into practical experience by unifying with blissful, heightened awareness. And in this way, it's possible to fully integrate one's life. The fundamental human problem, Lama says, is that when we have pleasure, we generally become more ignorant, more attached. It's common for us to be possessive about what's happening. This is my experience, it's mine. We can break this habit by unifying it with emptiness. Somehow we need to go beyond our normal habit of possessiveness, of relating to everything with our limited senses of self. We can imagine someone before us whom we find extremely attractive, that arouses a feeling of wanting them. And what if they suddenly dissolve into rainbow light? Automatically, our grasping desire and possessiveness dissolves. So we still have a relationship with this beautiful object, but somehow it's changed. Imagine the difference of it being changed. I'm this rainbow body, you're this rainbow body, but somehow it cuts this grasping possessiveness. So we've let go of our grasping attitude, and now we experience something more spacious, more universal instead. It's a light, blissful, intensely aware experience. And this is what we're trying to cultivate. The generation stage practice of the three kayas is a rehearsal for the more advanced completion stage practices, which completely loosen the concrete concepts we have about ourselves. So we generate clear appearance and divine pride as the deity, which creates the room needed for these kinds of transformations to take place. Practices such as inner heat, tumo, brings the energy winds into the central channel, similar to those at the time, similar to the time of death, what's happening at the time of death. So clear light dawns, and we can actually manifest the rainbow-like illusory body. Simultaneously born, great blissful wisdom is aroused, and we become completely overcome our limitations and our ordinary physical form. So we have to remember two important points. Although the completion stage practices definitely lead to the experience of bliss, its primary purpose is to enable us to enter into a state of clear light wisdom. It's this wisdom clear light into the true nature of reality that frees us from the bondage of our delusions. Bliss itself can't do that. So throughout our meditations, we have to develop a strong comprehension, as much as possible, of emptiness, of non-duality wisdom, of non-self-existent nature, of the blissful experience itself. If we follow old habits, turn the bliss into concrete, we increase desirous energy and produce a disastrous result. So the second thing to remember is that we must never be so carried away by our pursuit of bliss that we forget the motivation behind the entire practice of Tantra. The ultimate aim of the Buddhist path, both Sutra and Tantra, is to be of maximum benefit to others. Otherwise, all we'll be doing is creating the causes for more unhappiness and frustration. So as we begin to become more and more familiar with this blissful experience of clear light available within us, we'll be developing a powerful method for transforming our ordinary limited experiences of this sensory world. And I'm going to skip over a few bits because we keep getting too close to the end. And I do want to really say that we never know what level of attainment we are now until we try. So as human beings, we shouldn't set a limit on how much we can accomplish, no matter what our life has been like so far. And Lama said, here's what you need to actualize this path. Here's what you need to have success. You need indestructible devotion with a clear understanding that the path we're following is reliable and worthwhile, and we can entrust ourselves to it. Our devotion naturally becomes indestructible. With unshakable confidence coming from our own experience, our practice will also be unshakable. Secondly, we need freedom from doubt. Doubt is crippling. When we develop the clear wisdom that understands the various elements of the practice, their order, their purpose, and so forth, doubt will automatically vanish. We need a firm structure holding our practice together. So many people listen to oodles of teachings from many lamas, and they complain that they're confused. They don't know where to begin. They don't know who their main teacher is. They don't know what meditation to do first. So this shows a lack of sight of the structure of the underlying practice, the foundation. So in Tibetan Buddhism, Lama says, the practice, there is a clean, clear structure from beginning to end. There's a checklist. And if we feel lost, we should check for ourselves, with the aid of an experienced guide, what this structure is, and then follow it in a steady, progressive way. Thirdly, one-pointed concentration. This is something that many of us need to work on. It's impossible to penetrate to the depths of practice and taste its essence if our concentration doesn't have stability and focus. And this is the same in any discipline, academic studies, sports, music, whatever we're trying to do. All things have something in common, all well-developed concentration. And the last one is keeping our practice hidden. So this is a secret practice. Tantra is a secret practice. The correct term is secret mantra. Mantra means protection of the mind, and secret is a reminder that these powerful methods should be kept to ourselves like a precious treasure. It's very precious. Lama says that proud public behavior is unwise and attracts hindrances to our practice, that it's far better to retain a subdued outer appearance and be a great yogi or yogini inwardly than it is to make a big show on the outside, but have no realizations within. And Lama was so clear. He said, if we cultivate these 4 causes, indestructible devotion, freedom from doubt, single-pointedness, and secrecy, if we practice steadily and correctly, then all the powerful attainments of the path are definitely within our reach. We can cultivate the experience ourselves. So I feel like we need some cheerleaders out here. Whoop, whoop. Oh my. Yeah. So it's a vast topic. It's a lifetime of study and practice. We don't just automatically, dip our little toe in and think that we have tasted. We really do need a strong foundation and a strong determination. And there isn't any reason why you can't absolutely transform your life. Really, absolutely. It's very true. It's very true. So now you have questions? I can say that if if you're practicing and you have questions come up, please feel free to email me. You can email me at, let's see, maybe easy to remember, Elaine at vajrapani.org. That would be easy, and you're welcome. It might take me a few days to respond, but this is my last teaching for some time now. I'm taking a break. Then when I finish my retreat in January, we'll see what manifests in the future. But for now, I'm taking a break. I do have 2 talks that I'll lead for Thubten Norbuling in the next couple of months until the end of the year. But yes, I'm going to take a break and and see where that leads. Maybe I'll do a little practice. Yeah. So we should dedicate well. So if we turn to, before we actually go to the dedication, I think we should recite the complete path so that it solidifies that in our consciousness, and then Master Shantideva's prayer, and then the dedication. But if you haven't downloaded the 3 principal aspects of the path, my suggestion would be to download it. And if you haven't memorized it, then you can start, because you can start reciting it as you're driving down the road, on your way to work or on your way to school or wherever it is, whatever it is you're doing, because it's got the whole bit right there, the whole sutra path right there in 3 pages. And it's very, it's good to have as your Dharma tool belt. And you can sharpen them up as time goes on and use them and really try to see. I think it's useful to work on them one at a time, maybe for a week. Take it and start looking at each one and see how you would use it. Why is it, if you're talking about, let's say you're talking about precious human life. Okay, so there are the 8 freedoms and the 10 richnesses. So you could take one of each of those a day and just think about it a little bit. What is that? Why is that precious? What if I don't have that? So just to think about it, to make it your own, to make it a deep understanding of what this path is all about and why it works. We're talking 2,500 years here of yogis and yoginis gaining realizations in an unbroken lineage. So why does it work? We have to put it into practice. And also, once you have received these teachings, now it's like a double-edged sword. You have picked it up, and you have to gain the realization so you can pass it on. You have to teach others. You must, really, you must, because it's just too priceless. So each one of us must gain these realizations and really help others to understand why. Find ways to pass it on in ways that will really benefit, because that's really what benefits. The Dharma is what benefits. So we find ways to do that. Okay? Goody. All right then. So let's dedicate all this good energy. Page 18, I think it is. There it is. So this is very good, this Lam Rim bit here. Think about it as we read through it. Whatever you want for yourself and others with a human form is easily attained. Disengage yourself from meaningless efforts. Strive to accomplish the highest goals. Because all things composite are impermanent, life changes and never abides. That change is the basis of suffering. For the samsaric mind fills with frustration on watching its creations continually fade. The higher you climb in samsara, the higher the cliff on which you perch. The more things you own, the tighter you're bound. The dearer you hold someone, the greater chance they'll hurt you. The faster you subdue enemies, the faster their numbers increase. The body is a thing borrowed for a moment, and possessions are things stored for others. Now we dally with them, but quickly are they lost and misused, and only are sources of misery. Therefore, no worldly possession is worth the effort of gaining. Turn your back on that which only handicaps. An unburdened mind is joy supreme. The pinnacle of aims is to follow this path, body, speech, and mind kept stainless with pure self-discipline. Mind held in samadhi, blissful and clear, and wisdom seeing all realities of every situation. The mother beings wandering in the 6 realms, to me their child are pieces of my heart. For many times have they soothed my troubles, and in infinite ways have they brought me joy. These infinite beings so kind are covered by the fog of ignorance. Constantly lashed by whips of delusions, they have no chance to lay down the burden of misery from their minds. Therefore, whenever you meet anyone, greet them with eyes smiling with love. Why mention that you shouldn't even consider holding evil intentions or deceptive thoughts? The way people and things seem to be, other than projected labels, is a distortion created by deluded mind. If we look at the root of things, emptiness is clearly understood. And in the vast space of the perception of emptiness, mental grasping for the ultimate subsides. Then one looks in the face of the world, everything is seen without essence. Understanding interdependence, we understand emptiness. Understanding emptiness, we understand interdependence. This is the view which is the middle, which is beyond the terrifying cliffs of eternalism, nihilism, neither or both. May all beings everywhere, plagued by sufferings of body and mind, find an ocean of happiness and joy by virtue of my merit. May no living creature suffer, commit evil, or ever fall ill. May no one be afraid or belittled with a mind weighed down by depression. May the blind see forms, the deaf hear sounds. May those whose bodies are worn with toil be restored on finding repose. May the naked find clothing, the hungry find food. May the thirsty find water and delicious drinks. May the poor find wealth, those weak with sorrow find joy. May the forlorn find hope, constant happiness and prosperity. May there be timely rains and bountiful harvests. May all medicines be effective and wholesome prayers bear fruit. May all who are sick and ill quickly be freed from their ailments. Whatever diseases there are in the world, may they never occur again. May the frightened cease to be afraid, and those bound be freed. May the powerless find power, and may people think of benefiting each other. As long as space remains, as long as sentient beings remain, there too may I remain to dispel the misery of the world. By merit of this virtue, may I become Buddha, lead all beings, everyone, into that enlightened state. May the precious Bodhi mind not yet born arise and grow, and may that born not decline, but increase more and more. In the snowy mountain paradise, you're the source of all happiness and good. Powerful Tenzin Gyatso Chenrezig, please remain until samsara ends. Savior of the snowlands, teachings and beings, you clarify the path that unifies emptiness and compassion. Lotus holder Tenzin Gyatso, may all your wishes be spontaneously fulfilled. Great upholder of the moral way, bountiful bearer of everything good, accomplishing beautiful prayers, honoring the three precious jewels, sustaining and spreading Buddha's words, Kyabje Zopa Rinpoche, our precious Lama, please live long. And all our lamas. May each and every one have a long and fruitful life. And all our spiritual companions on the path enjoy a vast reign of Dharma. And may we ourselves never be separated from the Holy Lama. Life after life, basking in the glory of Dharma. Until quicker than quick, we become Buddhists. And lastly, we dedicate to all those on the prayers in our centers, on the prayer list. May their wishes be fulfilled. Okay. Thank you all so much for coming.
Thank you, Elaine. And just on behalf of Thubten Norbu Ling, I'd love to offer this virtual kata.
Thank you. Yes.
Thank you. And just to say, I know I speak for all of us, and just saying this is just tremendous and deeply precious to have this opportunity to be with you and with all of you. So thank you so much. And it's the added bonus of being the last class that you'll teach. So the cherry on top of the Dharma Sunday.
Yeah, at least for the time being. We'll see what karma brings. But for now, I'm going to take a break and do some retreat. And I've shared, I think I've I've pretty much shared what I know. And anyway, we'll see how it goes, right?
Wonderful. Well,
All right.
blessings to you on your retreat. And
Thank you very much. Thank you. And may all of you be well and quicker than quick, succeed on this path. And don't hesitate to write to me. There's no question that is silly. Okay? All right. Be well. Thank you for the invitation to sit in here with you. And I think maybe in the future we'll see each other again. Okay? Thank you.